All right, we're turning our attention now to football right here on the SportsMax Zone. And the match week 32 in the rare nephew Jamaica Premier League came to an end at the Waterhouse mini stadium on Monday night with a pair of fixtures holding repercussions at all segments of the table. Well, first up, it was Malines United, now in 12th position, 3 points from the relegation places, taking on Arnett Gardens, looking to climb back to second place with a win. And that they did with a resounding 4-0 victory, courtesy of goals from Fabian Reid, Kimani Arboyne, Rashane Thompson and Rashiki Kelson, condemning Malines to another heavy defeat, the team now conceding 65 goals on the season, a league high. Well, then it was the turn of the home team to be in action as playoff chasing Waterhouse welcomed Harbour View, who are in a similar conundrum as Malines, just 3 points separating them and Humberline in the 13th. Let's see how this panned out.
As we take a look at the full-time highlights here. And this free kick going straight to Akeem Bernard with the catch. Rowan Brown on the end of that one. And it was Bernard who made the save. Opportunity here. Cole inside, and this one was dragged towards the target by Andre Fletcher. Couldn't get enough power. But who got the power? Jibison. Wonderfully composed finish inside the box. Beautiful hit. Lovely stuff. Yep, Jibison. He won't miss from there. And he didn't, getting his 4th goal of the season. And then opportunities abound for Harbour View. Reid with an attempt from distance from that free kick. And then the second half, lovely ball across, and Fletcher really should have got the better of Bennett there. What a chance that was, as Harbour View were split open. And then it was Fletcher on this near side, sending the ball inside. Javane Bryan with the effort. Bounced just in front of goalkeeper Anthony Bennett. It was the hard surface that did him in. And the bounce took the ball over Anthony Bennett. And he was bamboozled by that one. And then good work there, Leacock on a platter. And no issues there for Javane Bryan. Second goal in quick succession as Waterhouse ran away with this one. Leacock did so well, or player of the game. And good finish by Javane Bryan. Could have been more. Leacock again. Well, so nice we had to see it for a 5th time. That's the end of the game though. Waterhouse with a 3-0 victory over Harbour View.
They spoke following the contest.
Very proud. I mean, I must say to the guys, congrats. I thought they needed to do this one for Coach Maxwell today. Last night on camp he spoke long about it, and you know we have an heart to them. And today they go there from minute 1 I think to 90, and they play good football. We strong in the area. We need to strong today. I mean, Harbour View in part of the game they were taking it over, and we stuck behind the ball. We played defensively, and we were strong, and you know hence we got a clean sheet today, and that's great.
I said never lack the effort. It's just that we just lack never stopping the opportunity that they created. I think it was especially the first goal, second goal, a two easy goal. Those balls could be defended much better.
Yeah, of course, Waterhouse, they're getting the better of Harbour View 3-0. Before we delve deep into the analysis, here are the full results and how the table looks following that round of action. Chapelton Maroons a 1-0 win against Portmore United. No goals in the draw between Humber Lion and Montego Bay United. Tivoli picking up 1 goal to secure the win against Racing United. Again, a 0-0 draw between Vay and Don Beholden. That Cavalier match postponed. Malines United losing to Arnett Gardens. Waterhouse a 3-0 win against Harbour View. Well, we promised analysis, and here to provide is our SportsMax analyst, Lish Williams. And Lish, we can start with the table, because at the top of the table, Mount Pleasant, of course, on 68 points. Arnett Gardens in second on 65. Montego Bay United in third on 64. Portmore United, Cavalier and Tivoli round out the top 6. Of course, Humber Lion and Vay United battling relegation. So based on the results that we just spoke about, Waterhouse, that win putting them up to 7th position on the table. What a win it was.
Yeah, it was a fantastic win. I think that Waterhouse have now found a way to get back some form. They were in some really bad form before their win against Vay United, right before this one, where it was I would say 11 games, only 1 win in 11, and that's not form that we're used to seeing from any Waterhouse team throughout the years. They're used to being a consistent top 6 team. They were pretty much consistently in the top 6 this season, but throughout the season, the form has dipped. But they're getting back form at the right time. As I always say that, I say it on commentary a lot as well, Waterhouse always end seasons well. They always find a way to get themselves in the playoffs. So even last season when Montego Bay United were on their tails for the last 6 or 7 games, they dug out, it was the 8 games actually, they dug out 7 wins and a draw to keep that 6th place. So I think that there will be a strong contender going forward, but something to keep in mind is that the last time, because they went on this run 11 games with just 1 win, the last time before these 2 games where they've gotten back-to-back wins this season, it was actually against Vay and Harbour View as well in back-to-back games back in January. So is it that their season is turning around, or are they just generally better than these teams? I think on Monday when they face off against a Chapelton team who are continuing to fight for their Premier League survival, I think then we'll get a greater look at how much Waterhouse have improved and how settled they are on that Monday night game.
Yeah, you say improve, and I just have to ask you to just talk a bit more about those areas, Leger, that you feel they would have improved in, at least to create this sort of turnaround that we're seeing.
I think it's down to intensity. There's obviously a lot of tactical things to go into most times when there's anything new happening with a team, there's a turnaround in form, but I think it's just down to their intensity. They're simply just being much more forthright with how they're defending and attacking, a lot more transitional opportunities. I don't think that they're playing any blistering football or anything of the sort, but I do think that they have a lot more intensity from the off. They're not allowing teams to get on top of them like they used to. And obviously a big shout out to Amani Leacock, who I think has been a brilliant transfer for them. He's been adding a lot of progression to their midfield, whether through passing, carrying. He's also a very good touch player in tight spaces, which is generally the Waterhouse way. So I think that this Waterhouse team, they've improved in those aspects. I still do think that there are some inadequacies in terms of their tactical shape, which can be exploited, but that will remain to be seen. They still have some games to improve that as well. They've also lost their assistant coach, Damian Gordon, who was there for 7 years. He tendered his resignation last week. So there's still some things to work out. It's going to be interesting to see that top 6 race. It always tends to be I think, heading into the playoffs, the best race. The top 6 races always provide some good form. This season with Racing, Tivoli and Waterhouse, I think that's going to be the most intriguing thing until the season ends.
Yeah, and we have to put Waterhouse and look at Harbour View now as opposed to Waterhouse, because they've lost their last 3 matches. No goals in the match against Waterhouse. They looked out of sorts. What has attributed to these continuous losses?
Now with them, I can say it's tactical issues, personnel issues as well. From looking at the lineup, because I actually asked Coach, it was Damian Stewart I spoke to in the pre-match, and I was asking him in the pre-match interview what went behind the thought of using, because they started with a midfield 2 of Duan Green, the young man from Kingston College, and Alvinus Myers, while having Luca Kong on the bench and other recognized midfielders on the bench as well, like Chukwemeka. So it was strange to me, not only from a fit perspective, because Alvinus Myers generally isn't a central midfielder, but also what I knew they would try to do. So Alvinus Myers has played in a back three before, in the middle of a back three, almost like a sweeper, and at times he would drop in from midfield in between the two centre halves, and it just emptied the midfield, and time again they just struggled to progress the ball. And this has been a gripe I've had with many Jamaica Premier League teams, including Waterhouse. I still don't think they fixed that, but Harbour View, if you're struggling to progress the ball effectively, and then your best players are very much touch players, including Trayvon Reed, who had a disaster of a first half, in my opinion, constantly dropping back into that left deep space, always looking for these elaborate switches of play that would always put his team in danger, prompting a Waterhouse press. I just think that there were a lot of tactical issues. They didn't play well. They didn't play well at all. I don't see how these issues will be fixed this season, but luckily for them, they don't necessarily have to be good, Harbour View.
Yeah.
They just have to be better than the teams below them, because at the very least, they have a buffer. And how it looks with Malines' form, currently the worst in the league, Humble Lion, they're doing a bit better, but still not convinced. And Veer, the less said about them, the better at the moment. I do think that Harbour View probably will stay up, but they do have some serious issues to fix all around their club.
Yeah, before we get to the high-scoring Arnett and that big win over Malines, a quick word on Omani Leacock and what he has offered to this Waterhouse team since his arrival from Barbados. I think he was man of the match last night for the second time in about 3 or 4 weeks in a TV game.
Yeah, I think he's, as I said, I think that he offers a lot in terms of their progression and the fact that he is a small space player. So Waterhouse, typically when they get into their attack, if you look at all of their teams throughout the years, they always have those you know, the Jamaicans would say the nippy attacking midfielders, love to dribble, love to get on the ball in those tight areas, those combination play. And when I was speaking to him after the game, he said that he's glad he's here doing this well, because he's showing the Jamaicans that the people from Barbados can play football as well. So, you know, he's come and he's adjusted really well. I think he's playing some really good football, and Waterhouse, I think we're begging for a midfielder like that. When you look at how their squad is constructed, they had a number 6 in Shamar Booth, and then they had probably 5 or 6 attacking midfielders. He is a true box-to-box, and he offers them a different profile, and it's clear that they were missing that profile. So it's actually really good to see that he has been at the forefront of them moving forward and improving.
Yeah, and quickly, Javane Brand, who was Golden Boot winner last year, scored last night for the first time, I think, in about 7 games or so, but we know he has had injury issues and so on. Is he back now to full fitness and scoring form?
I hope so, because I think that the past 2 games, Nicholas Hamilton has started. I do think that Nicholas Hamilton is a player of a lot of quality, but in terms of being a centre forward, especially because you have to be able to match profiles in the team and then how those profiles can help the team. Waterhouse, apart from Jibison, I think, who is more of an attacker, he loves to score goals. I think when you look at their wing options, Dylan John, Andre Fletcher, even Nicholas Hamilton himself when he plays there, if you're going to use Denardo Thomas there, Martin Davis can play out there as well. All of these players are creators. So I don't see the purpose of using a false 9 type of player. Use one of your big strikers. You have Javane Bryan, who has been a Golden Boot winner just last season. And even in a slow season, he has 6 goals this season. Atafra Bygrave, we know that he loves to score goals as well. 8 goals this season. I find it a little bit perplexing that they aren't using one of those target man type of forwards to get the best out of the rest of their squad.
Yeah, we're pretty much out of time, but a quick word on Arnett Garnes and their prolific scoring and their form. I think they have the best unbeaten streak in the league at the moment. And Fabian Reed, 4th goal in the last 6 games or so, so the veteran keeps finding the target.
Yeah, no, Arnett Garnes are in some scary form, actually. I think everything that Xavier Gilbert has been doing throughout the season in terms of rotating his team, keeping everybody fresh, motivated towards the end of the season, it's bearing fruit now. A lot of players are hitting form at the right time. I think obviously we've seen some spectacular performances this season, and I don't think this Arnett Gardens one was one of the best of the season or anything, but the confidence that they were playing with in possession, I think if the other big teams that are going to be in the playoffs are watching that performance, it's going to put some fear into them, especially considering that they were playing without their and the league's top scorer in Warner Brown.
Yeah, well, Lish, what's for sure is we have a lot of different storylines to look forward to. The JPL continues to get exciting, and I can't wait to actually see which teams end up in the top 6. But what we can tell the viewers for sure is the Jamaica Premier League lives on your home of champions, and you can catch all the action right here. Thanks again, Lish, for stopping by, and we're going to take a break. Break time.